All right, we
Yeah,
in here. We in here. Hey, folks, welcome to the HD Live. This is Dialogue.
it's your man Eddie Ad.
Yeah, and today we've got a ground shaking live stream for you guys. This guy, he's blowing, absolutely blowing up on YouTube right now, man. I mean, look, I saw his video that he did a little bit close to a year ago about the Iran war, and I saved it to watch later. And the war started, and I was like, wait a second, didn't some guy make some video about this? And I watched it, and he was blowing up. But anyway, guys,
Yeah, yep.
this is going to be an awesome live stream. I hope you get some value out of this. Remember to leave your thoughts, your comments. Remember to like the video. It's helpful to us and it helps other people see the video as well. The algorithm pushes it out. But anyway, Eddie Ed has not seen this video. He's not
Yeah.
seen the number of videos that I'm about to show. So this is also new stuff to him.
I may no actually, you know what?
What's up?
I saw this guy, but I don't know which videos you're gonna show. So I
Oh,
may maybe I've seen one out of three you about to show, but I heard about this guy and yeah.
oh, you heard? Okay. All right,
Mm-hmm.
cool. He's blowing up. So hey, he's showing up on
Yeah,
everyone's YouTube. So
yeah.
so this guy, he actually predicted the Iran war 2 years ago. But then I saw another video of his, which I was like, oh, that looks like a very interesting video. He's a genius at geopolitical theories and understanding the world, but
Oh.
he talked about Jesus Christ, and that video is going to absolutely blow your guys' mind because we have said this on this podcast or on this live stream, this channel over and over and over again. And even the smartest of people on YouTube do exactly what we say people do all the time. You'll find out. Keep watching.
Man.
Did you have something to say before we
Man, I got
started?
something to say, but I might actually save it because I did a live stream yesterday,
Mhm.
and you said that he predicted what was going to happen 2 years ago. So I got something I want to say about prediction, but I think I'm gonna save it for after we get into what we're gonna get into. So let me just jot it down.
All right, cool. So we're gonna start with the obvious, right? Everyone knows this professor is smart. If you've seen him, if you've watched even one video of his in regards to geopolitical politics and whatever, you know he's smart. Okay, he's articulate. He's confident how he speaks to his students. You can tell. And he predicted the Iran conflict almost 2 years ago before it happened. Okay, so I have a little bit of a little clip here that I want to show you guys of him talking about this Iran war 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago now, which is, whew, man, it's crazy. All right, so let me pull it up real quick. The video is called the Iran Trap. Are you ready?
Hey, let's get to it. Let's see what.
So there are three major interests, forces that are pushing the United States towards war with Iran. The first is the Israel lobby. Remember that the Israel lobby is composed of both Jewish interests as well as Christian interests, right?
Okay.
All
So
right.
we're gonna stop this clip there. That was
All
just
right.
to give you guys a little snippet. So if you guys want to go check out the Iran Trap on his channel, please do so. Okay, it's actually kind of mind-blowing how well he predicted it. So he breaks down geopolitics like a daggone surgeon. If you want to talk about a surgeon, this is a surgeon for geopolitics, and he understands the power dynamics, the incentives behind why people do stuff, the collapse that happens in societies, elite behavior. And he's not a lightweight. Like, this isn't one of those people who just pick. No, he's an expert
Lightweight,
at doing this kind
baby.
of stuff. Yep. And so you have anything to say about that clip before we move on to the next part?
I mean, I'm just curious on where this guy is with what he believes.
Mm,
As far as what God he follows. You know what I mean? So he's
yeah.
you know I wonder that because then that'll kind of shape some things about where he's going a little bit too in his perspective.
Yeah, and that's actually what made me interested in the video that that I clicked it. That's why I clicked it. I was just interested. This was a couple weeks ago that I clicked it. So let's check out this next clip. But like seeing him as the surgical master that he is at geopolitics and understanding how societies function, this is exactly why his argument against Christianity is so shocking. Okay, because yes, he literally abandons his own rules. And in this How Societies Collapse lecture, a student asks him a question. This is where I picked it up and the dominoes began to fall. So I want to play that for you guys real quick. And yeah. All right, let's pull this up.
Yeah, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a good one.
All right, let's go.
Is it loading? Okay.
There we go. Was it not playing?
No, it wasn't playing.
Man. All right, let me go back.
Playing the whole time.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it's like frozen for for a second or something, but I don't.
Yeah. Let me know if you can hear the sound now.
No, I can't hear the sound, but I can see it. Now it's moving now.
Oh, there we go. All right.
But what if there is a
okay, here we go.
Universal target that forces everyone needs to work together? Will that work out?
Hold on, it's mad low.
It is mad low because he gave a speaker to the student.
Oh,
so the student is asking here, what if there's a universal target that forces everyone to work together? Because in this specific lecture, he's talking about the society is collapsing. And the way we can see societies collapse is everyone begins to become individualized. Everyone falls into their own pocket, into their own selfishness. And so someone is bleeding out on the street and no one's even going to help them because, well, I don't know what's going on there. I don't trust them. They're not a part of my group. They're not a part of my family. So, you know what? They can just bleed out and die. And the student asks this question: what if there's an alien invasion or something like that, that everyone has to work together in order to defeat this invasion?
Exactly. I mean, we done seen it in the movies, Avengers. You know what I mean? Like, we see movies where different societies or countries combine their forces to defeat a common enemy. So that's a question for the ages.
And so I think he's going to answer the question in this clip. Let's keep watching.
Everyone just put down all of these problems and figure out that.
Yeah, okay, I understand. That is a great question, okay? So the question, to rephrase it, okay, is, yeah, but what if there's an external threat, okay? An external threat. If there's an external threat, then surely this system, this life cycle, can be extended, right? And external threats are examples of, hey, let's say there's an alien invasion. Let's just say China's being attacked by the United States, right? And unfortunately, the answer is it does not matter. Because once you've reached the point of a megacity, first of all, you're so selfish, you're self-absorbed, you are not aware of external threats. The other issue is you're no longer capable of working together because you don't trust each other. Okay? So the external threats factor doesn't really matter. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking, okay? Yes, in theory, oh my God, if aliens come, then humans would unite. No, that's not what would happen, okay? What would happen is certain factions of humans would try to align with the aliens to conquer everyone else.
There you go. He says, right? You guys heard it. You heard it as well at the end. Okay. Words right out of his mouth. So he says humans don't unite under pressure. Basically, they basically break up into little groups and they fracture. So they betray each other. Factions turn inward toward against each other, and people will even side with the invader if it benefits them, because of course everyone wants to live, right? I mean, that makes sense to me. That is it
Yeah.
clear to you?
Yeah, because I'm thinking in a couple scenarios, right?
Mhm.
The scenario in which, let's say, uh let's let's say at a smaller scale, there is some kind of foreign monster, right? That
Yeah.
is at a far neighborhood. Let's say a rival gang neighborhood
Mhm.
that you're not a part of. You're not gonna go help that rival gang neighborhood as they're being attacked. You're gonna actually hope that the monsters bites them all up.
Yeah.
You're gonna hope they get bite up, right?
Yep.
But now you got to deal with the problem. And so in that scenario, you probably won't go aid them, but you know that you got to get ready for the attack yourself. And
Yeah.
so that I could see. Another scenario is, let's get a little bit closer.
Mm.
Okay, now let's say they're being attacked right next door at your house, at your enemy's house. You're not necessarily going to go over there either to go help them out. You're going
No.
to stay home. You're going to hear what's going on. You're going to try to actually evacuate. But let's give the scenario where you guys are both in the same environment as far as proximity, right?
Mm.
It's you guys are together, and if you guys don't work together, you guys are gonna die, right?
Yeah.
So you're stuck in a hard place where you are forced to work with each other for survival. Would you work with them then? I would.
Mm.
To survive, I'm working with them. And I think most people, to survive, would do the same thing. But if we're talking about long distance threats that we can either wait for them to get you or get me, I don't think anybody's coming to the aid. I think
Mm.
that's to me that seems like it. I can imagine most people
Mhm.
letting the damage be done and then getting ready to defend themselves after, you know, to be the next ones in line.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yep, that makes sense. And the words that came out of his mouth, that's his anthropology, that's his understanding of human nature. Okay. But then in the Jesus lecture, all right, I'm going to play two little clips for you guys. He completely flips in his line of logic here, which you have to be careful with people when they do this. But um let's take a look at this clip real quick.
All right.
You do not betray other Jews to the Roman authorities. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, we can argue amongst ourselves, but we will not betray each other to non-Jews. Okay, we will not fight among the Romans.
Okay. I don't think ever in history have we had a case where the Jewish people betrayed a Jew to the authorities. Like, that's basically what he's saying. So my question now is, which is it? Do humans betray each other under pressure, or are Jews morally perfect and immune to every dynamic he says society collapses to, right? Because if he's saying this is the human nature of things, and he's saying Jews will never do this thing in human nature, then what are you saying here? You got something to
Yeah, I
say?
mean, yeah, I think once again, going back to the survival thing, if it costs life, a lot of people will betray each other. I mean, just look at the scale where people are going to prison. How many
Mm,
stories do we can we research, real life stories that included best friends, good friends,
yeah.
betraying each other so that they can not get a life sentence or be sentenced to whatever the
Yeah,
long, you know
bro.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even
Yeah.
in that scale, people are gonna sell you out. I mean, we even have a public media one with the rappers. They've
Mm,
done it to get out, and some confess that they did it to save themselves. But
mm,
supposedly
mm.
the people that they ratted on are homies for life.
Right.
And they say all these phrases that like to the death, this, that, and the third, till I
Mhm.
die, to the last breath. All the hard phrases you want to come up with, they've said. But hey, when it came down to the pressure, the pipe busted. Pressure
Boing.
burst, pressure, pressure burst pipes, man, and they couldn't
Yeah.
hold it together.
Yeah.
Look,
So this that was the first clip. I'll play the second one a little bit, but he can't have it both ways. Okay. So once his contradiction and what I just played contradicted his initial statement of the human nature, people betray each other. Once the contradiction is revealed, everything begins to fall apart. And so here is the so to say, here is the domino one of the falling of the structure of his whole lecture. And please watch this full lecture of the divine spark and watch these other two lectures, the collapse of society and the Iran trap, and catch the contradiction. Okay. Because a faction of Jewish leaders, right? So the domino one is, if betrayal is possible, the gospel narratives, the narrative becomes more plausible, right? It's more likely to happen if people can betray each other, even Jewish people.
Yeah.
And so a faction of Jewish leaders collaborating with Rome fits perfectly with the Jewish sectarian history. Like the factions that they had, the sectarian faction, I believe that's what that is it fits with why they betrayed him. Okay. And then you have the story of Josephus, you have the Dead Sea Scrolls, you have the political climate, which that's why a lot of people believe that Jesus wasn't political, because if Jesus is political, then God is political, and then it's like it's a whole line. So the political climate of the first century Judea and his own collapse theory, which I just played for you guys. And so the gospels don't contradict history, they actually match with it. And this has been tested over and over again, even with embarrassing stories type of thing. Like some of the things in the Bible people wouldn't write about, I forget the character's name, but he was leaving Sodom and Gomorrah and his wife turns around and dies. Like, who does
Lot's
that?
wife.
Yeah, a lot. Like, who
Yep.
writes a story like that about themselves and then portrays their wife dying? What's the point of that?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on.
You got some before we go to the second domino.
Just real quick, betrayal. We see betrayal in all facets of closeness. Mothers with children. How many stories have you heard? Mothers killing their kids. That's betrayal.
Yeah.
That's a form of betrayal. Like it's in every sector of or level of trust. Betrayal can happen because why? Evil's in the world. That's why.
Selfishness.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my second point in this domino effect is, if betrayal happened, then Jesus wasn't just a political nuance, because a lot of people will say that, right? He brought some nuance to politics, and his teachings turned politics upside down. And so why betray him then? Why break your customs? Why collaborate with Rome? Because Jesus wasn't claiming to be a political rebel. That's not what he was doing. He was claiming to be God. That's why the Jews killed him. That's why they betrayed him, because he was claiming to be something that is an abomination to say, even in the Jewish sectors that he claims they never betrayed each other. And so no Jew took that lightly, and they stoned people for that, right? If they can stone people for committing adultery, why would they not stone people for saying they're God? Because God himself says, thou shalt have no other God before me. That's the first commandment. Well, that's the second commandment, right? Thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your power, might, and your mind. I hear like a low rumbling outside. It's weird.
Hey, last night I heard some gunshots last night. Pow, 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 pow.
Gunshots.
Yeah, make you duck when you hear them. Like,
Oh, whatever, man. Why are you
Yeah,
lying?
we were out there. Chirac, they say.
Yeah, right.
Nah, I'm just joking.
So Domino 3.
No, the gunshot really did happen though.
For real?
No, those happened. Yeah, that's a fact.
In your neighborhood?
Not in the neighborhood.
Oh.
Some strip mall close by, but yeah,
Whoa.
we can hear it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Man.
Real rap raw.
All right. So Domino 3. Okay. If Jesus claimed to be God, then the professor's Jesus was just a moral teacher collapses. Because he also argues this in his Jesus lecture that Jesus was just a moral teacher, right? He taught what every prophet taught, just morality. And I have actually a clip from this that I want to play for you guys. Let me pull this up real quick. It's this one right here.
It's what every poet prophet we studied this semester taught as well. Okay, so you look at Homer, you look at the Yahwehs, you look at Zarathustra, Plato. What do they all teach? They all teach that there is a source, okay? The source is the divine, the good, God, the universe, the monad, whatever name you have for it, okay? And the source emanates and it creates the entire universe. And we come from the source. Now, our bodies are material, okay? So our bodies come from a process of evolution. But our consciousness, our soul, is the divine spark. And it comes from the source. So after our experience here on Earth, after we die, our source, our spark goes back to the source, okay? And it's a constant cycle until we, at the end, merge with the source. Okay, this is what Buddhism teaches. This is what Hinduism teaches. This is what Zoroastrianism. This is what all major religions teach. Okay, so Jesus was just teaching it for his times.
All right. So that's a lot of assertions, and he basically asserts a new religion into his denying of Christianity. All right. Do you have anything to say before I move forward with this clip?
It sounds like he's definitely not on.
You sound disappointed.
I'm not disappointed. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I don't think he's on our team. I don't think he's on our team.
Which I think personally, I think is completely fine. You cannot be on our team, but to me, if you're gonna make such arguments that Jesus was just a moral teacher, it's mind-blowing because he hasn't dug deep into the research and findings people have spent lifetimes on. For example, how can Jesus just be a moral teacher and teach what the prophet said when no prophet actually said, I and the Father are one, or before Abraham was,
there's a lot of it's a lot of stuff he's chopping off. He's chopping off too much fat off of the cow.
Yeah.
Like, bro, how can he just be a moral teacher when he did miracles, healings? He ain't just a moral teacher. But they didn't even say that. They said, even the Muslims don't even say that. They say he was a great prophet.
He was, yep.
So you are already disagreeing with other, sectors of beliefs that don't even really hold Jesus as the most high. They're saying something way greater than what you're saying and more dynamic. You say he's just a moral no, you either you're not doing your homework or you've purposely cutting off the fat because you want lean meat. Pause.
Every stream, bro. Every stream.
Listen, I gotta cover the corners, man.
Golly, man.
Gotta cover the corners, doggy.
And another thing that he says is the Son of Man will judge the world, right? No prophet has ever said something like this. So that's not Buddhism. That's not Plato. That's not Zoroaster or something, whatever he said.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, me neither, man. He used some interesting religions there, but
I don't
You
know.
know, that's none of those. That's Yahweh. That's God talking, right? And so if Jesus claimed to be God, the crucifixion actually does make sense because blasphemy was a capital offense.
Mm.
Rome executed
Mm.
anyone who threatened any kind of order in any capacity, and Jesus threatened both the physical order and the spiritual order, right? Now, Domino 5, if so, then if betrayal is normal, the professor's historical objection completely collapses because he says Jews would never betray a Jew, but his own collapse theory says that humans always betray under pressure. And so if his historical objection collapses, his entire Jesus lecture collapses, which is pretty crazy because he's a professor at an actual college. And that's the moment where the whole structure falls. It's I mean, even in one of his lectures he mentioned like the educational system is here to brainwash you. He actually said that. A professor in a lecture said the education that I am put here to teach you is here to brainwash you.
Yeah, no,
And
that
so
sound like yeah.
yeah,
No, sorry, no. Finish what you saying.
and so it's interesting that the very thing that brainwashes people is the very modality that he's using, which
Yeah,
shows
yeah, yeah,
you that no
yeah.
matter how smart or a genius someone may be, no one can ever contemplate every single thing that comes out their mouth. That's why the Bible says any man that doesn't stumble in his speech is perfect. Everyone falls prey to this thing. We all make mistakes, right? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's just yeah. It reminds me of the form of witchcraft
Oh,
that's the predictive programming thing where they show you what they're gonna do before they do it through the entertainment, medias, movies,
mm,
shows. They show you, hey, this is what we're doing, and then they do it because I heard from a witch, like a Western witch, is that is a form of witchcraft where you basically you come into agreement with it, you know, in a certain way. That way, when they do it, they're free to do it. You know,
mm,
it's no boundary because think of it like this. It's like conditioning. Like it becomes normalized. What am I? What are some examples? Pornographic images. Now we see movies with that are rated R, and you see like all kinds of like
yeah,
revealing of the body parts. But it's now normal when it comes to rated R films or just in general because it's been going on. And so now they don't have to have your permission to do certain things at different levels because
yeah,
you're conditioned. So like it's the same thing of if you put the frog in the warm water instead of the hot water, he'll stay in the warm water until he gets so hot that he's like, oh shoot, I'm already gone. Like he's already
mm,
dead before it
it's
gets to
late.
the boiling. Yeah, it's too late. So
Mm,
so that's pretty much what's going on. When it comes to that side of things, like he's telling you, hey, I'm conditioning you anyway.
yeah, yeah. It would, and which is crazy because this is what we always say. People in this particular one, he applies logic everywhere except to Christianity, right? And we've talked about this last week. You did a stream on Kev on Stage. He did the same thing. Applies logic everywhere, but to Christianity. Christianity becomes emotional,
Yeah.
right? Hormozy, he did the same thing when he went on the Iced Coffee podcast. Someone else does the same thing too. We've talked about a number of people that do this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and then you remember that one clip where literally the girl was like, you know, if it doesn't feel like this or that, then I take.
Yeah,
She's now cherry picking what she wants out, to believe out of the Bible because it's based on feeling and
right.
not based on actually what's true or the truth
Exactly.
of the word. So
Exactly. So, for example, when he talks about geopolitics, he uses systems thinking, he uses incentives, he uses factional behavior, like, you know, the groups within society. He uses historical realism, meaning he pulls from historical happenings that have happened. He uses human nature, but when he talks about Jesus, he completely abandons all of it and just says, that doesn't make sense, does it? Which he switches from like making an analysis to asserting things, which we just saw in that clip there. From logic to just being completely biased because he doesn't like it, right? From evidence to sentiment. And that's exactly why his argument collapses, because he just brought in a whole bunch of things that make no sense. And he completely forgot that I'm actually using logic in my class. So I don't know if someone caught him, but that was pretty wild to me. And so this is exactly why Christianity still stands to today, because time and time again, you have people doing the same thing over and over again. You know, Jesus didn't just predict the war. He predicted his own death and resurrection, and he fulfilled it from the Old Testament, from hundreds of years ago, right? His enemies understood his claim, the Jews and the Romans, they understood his claim. His followers died for his claim. History was reshaped by his claim. And unlike every empire that the professor studies, Jesus's kingdom didn't collapse. It literally cannot collapse, right? And you can see that it grew, it's growing, it's still growing. And because Christianity doesn't stand on sentiment, it stands on history, right? And when you apply the professor's own logic, Jesus ends up standing way taller than people, because what he's doing here, he's trying to diminish Jesus into this little tiny thing that happened in history that's insignificant to humanity, but significant to morality. And what happens is, because he tries to diminish Jesus so much, it's like, wait, did he actually do this to a whole empire, one man, a carpenter's son? He just brought morality that no one had ever thought about in history before, and they crucified him because they were threatened by him. Well, that doesn't actually make sense, does it? Because there were people who were actually criticizing society. So why was Jesus different? And that's where his argument falls apart, because it actually makes no sense. So that was the domino effect of the initial argument he made about people betraying each other, and then contradicting his own argument to say the Jews would never betray each other. So what do you got? You got any last thoughts?
No. I mean, you know, I think it's pretty playing out what we saw. I just think in general, people, as we saw in the Bible, Judas betrayed Jesus, and even Peter.
And he was a Jew, right?
And he was they was
Jews.
They Jew. Oh shoot. But no, they yes, even, you know, within the confines of his own group, you know, down to that nuclear level, betrayal was there. So as long as there's evil, these things will happen.
Yep.
And there's no boundaries when evil's in the mix. So that's it.
Yep. Hey, if you guys like truth-centered breakdown and reaction of videos, you guys comment and share and like the video. It helps us a bunch. It helps us know that you guys enjoy it, and it helps us know that you guys benefit from it. So, you know, drop your comments, drop your thoughts below.
Drop it down.
And we'll keep this up, okay? It's gonna be April 15th that we are interviewing, putting an atheist. 19th. April 19th, we're putting an atheist on the hot seat with some questions. It's not gonna be a debate. It's gonna be an interview. Diving deep into why he thinks that God isn't true. And so you guys can tune in for that. But until then, it's dialogue, folks.
It's your man Eddie Ed.
Hey, and we're out of here. Peace.
Peace. Yeah.